family. Okay? I didn't have to be at school all summer. I went home and I worked out on my own, just like all my other teammates did. And then, as the years go on, and then I was fortunate that Frank Maloney, asked me to stay on as a graduate assistant, and I got into the coaching profession in 1980. And this is my 39th year of coaching. 34 at the collegiate level and 5 in the NFL. And so I think I've seen a lot of things, and I know that I can talk about things because I've experienced it at the highest level in college football and then also in the NFL. But as time has gone on, we went from 10 games to 11 games to 12 games to a conference championship to many more, and up until a couple years ago, the scholarship was still room, board, books, tuition, and fees. Nothing's changed for the people playing the game, the people that the money is being paid to come and see play. And so now when you go and you see all the money that's being made by the conferences that then get distributed to the universities, okay, and none of that is really gone to the players, I've got an issue with that, because they're the ones who are playing the game. And and I've got an issue, I think, it's great, but when you're starting to pay salaries of $7 million for coaching staffs and what coaches make, and the kids don't get anything out of this, they got the cost of attendance, but that doesn't cover what a kid needs. They don't get cost of attendance during the summertime when they're here. So I think whether you put the money into the scholarship, included in the scholarship where they would get, say, $1,000 for 4 months during the year, because you go the middle of August to middle of September all the way to December 15th, and January 15th through April, and then $1,000 for $10,000. Increase the scholarship cost so they get that. There are also some kids that get scholarships. Well, if they get a scholarship and accept it, that comes off their scholarship bill for the university, but the kids never get that money back. But they've reduced the cost for what the scholarship would be because they got one, whether it's academics or whatever. So that's what I'm saying. Things have changed. Things have changed. And to me, kids don't go home in the summer. If we want them to go home in the summer, fine. But when you start offering kids scholarships in 8th, 9th, 10th grade, don't talk to me about amateurism. And universities shouldn't talk about student athletes. And the NCAA, to me, shouldn't talk about student athlete. Because it isn't a student athlete anymore. You're talking about an athlete, because you don't have the information needed for what, if they say it's a student athlete, to offer a kid a scholarship in 8th, 9th, 10th grade. You don't have enough academic information to do that. And so, the conferences, the university, people, everybody's at fault, And so what you need to do is everybody needs, to me, take a step back and get this thing changed, because it's not right. Things have changed. And, we have schools in football that are offering kids, and it doesn't mean anything. They just throw an offer out just so they can say they're in the game. The other thing that gets me is that, we as college coaches, get upset if the NFL would want to come in and evaluate our underclassmen. But yet, we don't think it's a big deal that we go in to the high school coaches and evaluate their freshmen and sophomores. And it's just not right. The system is broke. The system is broke. I'm talking football. I don't know basketball. I don't know other sports. But I know football, it's broke. And one thing is, I sat on the AFC Board of Trustees, and I got off of it because you couldn't make a difference. Because the AFC Board of Trustees doesn't have a vote they can't promote legislation. And it's hard for me because, and again, I'm at the end, getting towards the end. But, I've always tried to follow the rules, and I know we don't have, there's things going on in football that we have rules, and when you tell somebody that the people have broken, well, we can't enforce it. Well, then why have the rule? Why have the rule? So, that's why I came out with those things, because when I see some of those things, it just bothers me. Let's be upfront and honest with what it is. And to me, it's very hard to run something when it's not your full-time job, because it's really not the NCAA's fault. The NCAA is a governing body of all the institutions. The institutions make up the membership of the NCAA and have the voting right, hold the voting rights to what's passed and what's not passed. And to me, it's very difficult to have people in those positions who, they're not working on those things 365 days a year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. It's hard. It's hard. Because they got their own things going on in their own institutions. And then you got the conferences who are getting all this TV money, and football's different because the NCAA doesn't control FBS football. They don't control, they don't control the autonomy group in FBS football. They control basketball, but they don't control football. But all I'm saying is, we gotta get back to doing what's right and offering kids. And if all this money is being made, then these kids should be able to share it because of the demands that we've placed on them. And like I said, go back to 1976, room, board, books, tuition fee. Only thing that's changed is they're getting cost of attendance now. And for some of these kids to get back and forth as many times as they want, that's not even close to being enough money when they want to go home and do things. It's just not, And so I'm gonna keep being a voice or an advocate for the athletes, because again, it's hard for them to be able to say things. And if we as coaches come out and really say things, maybe it'll get some traction to it. But it's just not right. And it's not right with some of the things we're doing. It's like I said, this rule here, here we tell these kids, we want them, and they come here. And then if they come here, and if we don't do this, if we don't open it up to the general public, here's kids that we just spent over a year recruiting. Well, sorry, you can't sit in here. Is that the way you really treat somebody? Think about it. If I was a kid, what's going on here? And then people wonder why people question certain things that's going on, or people get criticized for certain things. That's one of the most dumbest rules I think I've ever heard in my life. And there's other ones. There's other ones. But we had a good system going. When I first got in this profession, you didn't start recruiting kids until after the cycle was over. So after you recruited that one, because the other thing is, now I'm on a roll.
Good question, Mike.
But, the other thing is this. Think about this. They put the rule in now where you can have these kids come and visit in April, take official visits. You don't have a 6th semester transcript. Some kids are scrambling just to get an SAT or a PSAT in so they can visit. But now, for us in football, just talking football now, for us in football, we have an evaluation period April 15th to the end of May. So say we bring a kid in first weekend in April for official visit. Well, now when we go to that school in April and May, we can't even talk to the kid, but yet we've already brought him on an official visit. You brought him in and showed him and everything else, but now when you go to that school, you can't talk to him. Okay? And so, that's the other thing. Why do we have to push up bringing these kids in for official visits when we don't even have all the academic information? We had a coach call us the other day, and he told us about, and I won't mention the schools involved, but he told us, he said, I had, and this was a Power 5 school, came in during the end of January, and you see all the, it was, you know, here in the state of Connecticut, and, you know, all these people come in and they throw these offers out. You know, I sit there and tell the coaches, tell the kid to call the school and commit and see if they'll take it. You know, so he tells a story about this guy coming in, and he says, Coach, he says, what was the name of that 2020 kid that you told me about? And the coach told him, he said, did I offer him that day? You know, and the coach says, yeah, you did. You know, so what do we, I mean, this is what's happening in our profession. People are just coming in because if other people have offered, or he's on a list somewhere that just said they haven't watched film, they haven't looked at the transcript, and they're offering people. Is that really the message that universities really want to send? Because that's, you know, that's the message the universities are sending. It might be coming from football or basketball or any other departments, lacrosse, you name it. But is that really what institutions of higher education are all about? So that's why I said, if you want to make it, you know, if you want to go, let the NFL start a minor league system like they have in other sports, and give these kids the option. You want to come out of high school and go play football? Then let the NFL develop a minor league system. So kids can go there, then they can develop them. But if not, you know, let's do things the right way for kids. And I spoke last night at the Connecticut High School Coach Association. And I told them, I said, I'm sorry we've done what we've done. Because this day and age to be a high school coach is very, very difficult. Very difficult. You deal with kids and parents that have kids that have offers in 9th and 10th grade. That's got to be hard to coach. Coach, I got all these offers, you know, what are you telling me? You know? But yet, we as college coaches get upset, you know, it's like